Today, I'm talking to a producer who's worked with Travis Scott, Metro Boomin, 21 Savage, Russ, and many more. And he even runs his own VST company, which is insane. In this video, he's gonna teach us how to get placements on major albums, and he's also gonna give us some sauce on how he started his very own VST company. All right, we're here with my best friend, Jacob.
Good to see you, sir.
So how did you actually get into making beats?
It's something that I loved from an early age. So around maybe 14 or 15, a friend of mine got a copy of FL Studio and gave it to me. I put it on my computer, and it was just kind of one of those light bulb moments where I'm like, man, this is fun. I think for a lot of people, it's like when you first get into music, it's so complicated and hard, but like for FL Studio, it was so like, I don't know, it just felt like a game. You know what I mean? Yeah, around 14 or 15, got into music. Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I remember the first time I got like a song played at like the local dance, I was like, oh, this is it. I gotta do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, so how did you make your first dollar from music, and how long did that take?
To be honest with you, probably like the very first dollar was someone local buying a beat. But to be honest with you, like the very first time that I feel like I successfully did it was the Russ placement. That was my first, major placement. Previous to that, I was doing a lot of film work and stuff like that, and I had quit doing the film work, and I had a radio job as well too. I quit that and went all in on music, and then roughly about a year later I had the Russ record. Sometimes you just have to go all in, you have to just take the jump.
I was gonna ask this later, but how did you actually get the Russ placement?
This is like a big gem, I think, for all up and coming producers, artists. It was at a local, it was like a networking event. So Ilman used to do Pass the Aux. He came to Toronto, he did a Pass the Aux. And so when I went there, I had this amazing chance to meet a bunch of people. And I remember meeting Ilman, and I just had an opportunity to just tell him who I was, kind of give him a little pitch. And at the time, I was doing a lot of scoring. So I was able to kind of tell Ilman, like, I'm really focused and passionate on music, but I'm also doing a lot of film stuff. This is what I could do. Like, we were able to exchange information. And that's where like I first made that connection with Ilman. And so for up and coming producers and stuff, sometimes just what's going on in your own hometown can be the moment that you have a chance to like meet somebody that as you build through your relationship, you get to like, achieve some of those goals that you've always set out to do.
Oh yeah.
And so to just build off of that story, I met Ilman. I went and did the Travis Scott documentary, and I reached out to Ilman to see if I could get an interview on his Black Chat podcast that he had at the time. So we did the interview, and it's during this interview where he's like, you should send me some music. And that first batch of samples that I sent him was the song that led to Russ's Patience. We hadn't even worked on music together, but I had now known him for like 2-3 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think especially like young producers like me kind of don't factor in as like time.
Absolutely. Another great example would be Travis Scott and 21 Savage off of Metro's last project, Niagara Falls. I went in 2019 after the Travis film. I got invited to go to a Cactus Jack songwriting camp. I felt I did good. I made a lot of records or whatever, and the record came out and none of my beats were on there. And to be honest with you, it was kind of like a bit soul crushing. But what happened is in that studio session, I met Alan Ritter. It was that relationship that I created at that point that got me later to work on the Travis and 21 song, because I met Alan. I remember I was in Paris and I got a message from him being like, yo, me and Metro just cooked up to some of your stuff. And it wasn't until months later that Travis played it on his radio show. And that was like the first time I realized like, oh, wow, it made it to Travis and 21's on it and stuff. Yeah, it was just like a crazy moment for me to finally know that I went from like working on that Travis doc to like doing a song for Travis.
Hell yeah. And that's one thing that I've been learning as I've been like networking in person more, is like it's more productive to just like chill with them, get food, and just talk to them, and then work on email for years to come.
Absolutely.
So you scored the Travis Scott documentary. How did that actually come about?
So as I had mentioned, I had the kind of film career that, I was doing a lot of film stuff. I had done some stuff for Kanye, The Weeknd, and the person that I worked on a lot of that with was my best friend, White Trash Tyler. Me and Tyler actually grew up together. Long story short, Tyler was on the road with Travis, was able to get a bunch of film and realized like, hey, I think there's something bigger here. And so at that point, he asked if I would be down at this point to edit. It wasn't for the music aspect. I was able to edit the first cut of the film and stuff with Tyler and some other people. A lot of the stuff needed temp music, so I just kind of started making music. Those two things became ingrained with each other. It's like, maybe we should just keep the music that Jacob's been making. So that's how it honestly really kind of came about.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's dope. So what doors did doing the Travis Scott documentary open up for you?
Honestly, a lot. I mean, as soon as that film came out and my name was attached to it, I had so many bigger producers reach out to me because they were inspired by the film.
I remember you mentioning to me that you like interned or worked for Kanye West at some point. What was that and how did that come about?
It wasn't an intern or anything like that. So what actually happened, again, my good friend Tyler started working with Kanye and reached out to me and basically was like, if you can be here Sunday, like we need extra people to film. There's pictures of me floating around, like following him with like a VHS camera and stuff. Around the life of Pablo, when there was a couple different people like filming him VHS style, kind of like just documenting everything. I wasn't necessarily in the room because I deserved to be in the room. I was there, I was filming, I was doing a job essentially. But what I took from that is like every single day I would come home and take notes and stuff like that because it was so like, it was like going to fashion school and film school and music, and like in a way got to see a little bit of the behind the scenes to know what it really takes to be the best of the best.
So did you always know that you would see success with your music?
Yes and no. I've had many doubts. I have doubts today. Last week I had doubts. I think the biggest thing for myself is like the one thing I know I can count on is myself. I know you're really big on this too. It's like sticking to a routine, sticking to like all the things that on a consistent basis, it's incremental steps that actually get you there. Being consistent and having routine and stuff makes you actually believe more in yourself, because all it takes is like a couple crappy beats and we're all like, I suck, I gotta quit.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? And then it takes one good beat and you're like, I'm the best producer there ever was.
Yeah, it's the best feeling whenever you make something, especially like those ones where you just keep playing them on your phone.
I know.
And your notes
At night before you go to bed, you're like, that was really good.
Yeah, those are the best. It's safe to say that you're definitely got a ton of major artists on your stuff now, and you've even built a successful VST plugin company, which I want to get into later. But for now, I really like your song with Russ, Patience, and I would just love to see how that sample was created.
Absolutely. This is how the idea all started. My friend Chris was over. I had my Moog. I just got it at the time, and he was just playing a little idea. I was recording it, and I was doing a lot of voice note takes. I'm not a good singer, so let me tell you that before I play this. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, if we got someone to lay like some sort of hook like that. How is it too late? My mind is complicated. Hiding to need some maintenance. So My Love is Complicated, that little end section and stuff there. This was the moment where I was like, okay, this is something here. You can kind of hear it happening. And so I actually sent this voice note and that original kind of piano piece that we laid down to my good friend, Nicole Ariana. She interpolated what I was trying to say through that voice note, actually sang it, and this is what it turned into.
Yeah, this could take some time. My heart is under maintenance, but I'ma give it up tonight. I'm running out of patience. Tell me that you see why I'm broken in all these ways. Please, Lord, just give me patience. My love is complicated.
Anyway, you can see how she was able to take the patience, my love is complicated, the things that I said in the voice note, and turn it into something much more bigger. So this song I ended up taking and turning into this loop.
Yeah, this could take some time. My heart is under maintenance. Tell me that you see why I'm broken in all these ways.
But yeah, that is the sample that, you know, I pitched it up. I shifted some stuff around, a little reverse, and then started adding some more instruments and stuff. You can see I have an Analog Lab bass in there. I have a key sound from, I think it's the free piano sound from Spitfire Labs. And yeah, a bunch of different elements of the sample.
How'd you affect that sample?
So this is like a trick that I've always used. So a lot of people probably don't know, but Grossbeat has one of the best flangers ever. Basically, all I did is just rolling off, as you can see, that was pitched up, rolling off the highs, putting on this flanger. And I just find, especially with vocals in this flanger setting, it gives you that space to kind of then work around the sample with other instruments. And that's where like coming in here and laying down these pianos, you know? And then another couple of cool things that I did here, like always, trying to do reverse, different kind of pitches and stuff. Again, have the Grossbeat on here. Another great effect, and I believe it's a free effect. Pancake 2. I love, obviously, the Pancake 2. Yeah, you can really do a lot with like a sample, if you know what I'm trying to say, just by pitching it and shifting it. So yeah, that's basically like the guts of this sample here.
Do you do anything in your samples to kind of make them more likely to get placed?
I think the biggest thing, and you see it actually going on here, is the structure. If anybody doesn't know how to do this in FL Studio, it's Control T, and you can actually create markers and stuff stuff like that. If you want to create a marker, I would definitely say you do this, because as you can see here, I'm able to kind of really structure the song. And I actually have templates you can see here. Like I have a Katy Perry pop template. I have like a Justin Bieber pop template. But I think really what boils down to a lot of loops is structure.
I've heard you say in the past that you have this system that whenever you just kind of turn it on and go hard with it, that you can just print out placements.
Yeah, for me, I like to call it the PSS, or the producer success system. It really boils down to routine and consistency. When it comes to that strategy, a big portion of that is literally just making sure that I'm getting the music off of my laptop. It's as simple as that. You know, we could make 1,000 beats this year, and like even for the biggest, best producers, you might only see them on 5, 6 albums. You know what I mean? It's not always the best strategy to just make as much as you possibly can. It's better to actually kind of get it out. When it comes to kind of my workflow and routine, I'm really focused on trying to do, you know, roughly every 15 minutes or so to spit out an idea. That's what idea, I'd be like a starter or a sample. If I want to flesh out the idea, I usually do that later, but at least from all my placements have come from creating samples. You know, at the end of the day, it really boils down to consistency. That's the only way to win in this game, is by staying consistent. So in talking about staying consistent, a big part of that is just staying organized. So over at Software, we use a program called Airtable, and the way we have this set up, we know our 1-year objectives, our 90 days, our 30-day objectives, our weekly targets. I know on a daily basis where we need to be going and what we need to be doing, and they all drive back to these 1-year goals. So for instance, expanding our product offerings was something that we really wanted to focus on. Well, what can we do in the next 90 days to expand our product offerings? Well, that's, you know, doing sound design. It's completing our next contact instrument. It's executing on the contact marketing. Well, what can we do if we were to branch that down into the 30 days? For the 30 days, if we were to look at it, for instance, with the contact instrument, it's creating the internal presets, the snapshots, the assets, all the bits and pieces. And then what can I be doing on a daily basis? And that's where I pull these over, and I'm able to come here and be like, you know, in May, what did I do? I did all these things. And did I get them done? Yes. Do I need to renew them? I do it. Did I put them on hold? You know, and I can really stay organized. So that's how I'm able to stay on top of everything that I need to do with my life with Software. But then if you come over here, you can see I got my best friend Jacob stuff, which we won't go too far into it, but I have all my 1 years and everything like that. So some really big goals that I'm working on, but they all boil back to those day-to-day actions, you know? So in going back to the producer success system that I was talking about, we do something which is called a waterfall. But the way, if you want to spend 15-20 minutes today, any producer that's watching, and you want to turn your goals into reality and be able to do them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, this is how you can do them. You can do this. You can kind of copy this idea, come over to a Google Doc and write down everything that you could do in a year and what you will do. Write down everything. You want placements, you want to put out a sample pack, create a company, put down everything that you could do here. And then I want you to pick 3 to 4 of the things that you will do. And when you think about the things that you will do, be realistic. Don't say, I'm going to win a Grammy this year if you never even got a placement, right? But maybe it is getting that one placement. That could be a realistic goal for you, or putting out a sample pack. When you do that, you're now going to have the 4 things that you're going to be focusing on for the next 12 months. And you're going to come down and you're going to take those 4 things and you're going to start building them out. What could I do for those 4 things over the 90 days, right? So let's just say the sample pack company, if I'm starting from scratch, I'm going back as Jacob doing the sample pack. Well, what could I do over the next days? It's buying the URL, it's creating the sample packs, making the Shopify store. List it all out. Again, all the things that you could do in the next 90 days and what you will do, because realistically, it's more smart for me to make the samples and to probably build my Shopify store at this moment than it might be to have the artwork done, right? So once you have what you will do, again, you do the same process and you come down to the next 30 days with all of those goals. So if it was building out the Shopify store, well, what does that mean? It means paying for the subscription, getting the URL, maybe getting someone to help you with artwork or whatever. And now you have everything that you need to do in the next 30 days, and you just put it on your weekly to-do list over the next 30 days. Getting into that mindset of just like putting stuff down that's actually going to help move you forward and focusing just on that stuff, that's where it's all going to change.
Yeah, it's sauce. I'm telling, like, staying consistent and organized is definitely huge advantage. If you were starting from 0 today, what would be like your step-by-step game plan to get your first major placement? What would be your plan?
To be honest, if I was starting all over again, I don't know, truthfully, if I would be like chasing a major placement. I think in my early days, I neglected how important it is to build with an artist. I think like if you can build with somebody, not only are you building your skill set, not only are you working together with somebody, but if you truly want to be the best of the best, you want to be a Kanye, a Pharrell or whatever, it's like, look at any of them and they had that iconic duo. Now, from a tactical standpoint, would be my approach to do it all over again. Number one, I truly believe networking in person. And so for myself, I'd be trying to find some of those opportunities in bigger cities like Atlanta, LA, Toronto, places like that. On the flip side, I'd be trying to think of the other skill sets that I have. You know, with myself, I have film. What if none of this had happened? I could reach out to Illmind and say, I know that you're big on socials. I would love to help with your social media presence. I'm an amazing editor and filmer. I would love to come and film some stuff for you or whatever. It's like doing stuff like that instead of just being like, yo, bro, I got loops. What's your email? Is going to be a way better way to honestly get in person with that person and make real connections.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you've worked with a ton of huge names on the placement side of things, but for me at least, I think that the most interesting part about kind of your story and your business is your VST company, Software Audio. How did that all come about?
It really all boils back to this Travis doc, because I realized at the time when I did the Travis doc, like I can't tell you guys how nervous and scared I was to score this doc because I'd never really scored anything. And so the first thing I realized is as soon as you want to start scoring films, if you Google that, it's like there's companies that are specifically making stuff just for you to score films. And I was like, why isn't there anything like that for the #1 genre in the world? There's no company that's almost like unapologetically all about like wanting to create cool technology for rap producers. And that's where like I kind of ventured into it with the first release, which was Octave. That one I had a goal of like, I think I could get 100 of my friends to like check this out, and like we crushed that in like 24 48 hours type of thing. Just started me on this journey of exploring and being like, what could I do, what could I hopefully offer producers in the space that isn't being offered. And my big hope or goal is like, I want us to listen, hear what producers want, take their ideas and actually implement them, because we've all had times where we open up and it's like 10,000 presets, or like I said with the Arturia thing, it's like it's the 3 oscillators and you're just kind of like, not all of us are master sound designers.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta scroll through 100 presets before you find something decent. If you were to start a VST plugin company or even like a sound pack company, what would be your game plan to go from zero to being able to make that like your full-time hustle, full-time living, just selling kits or selling plugins?
That's a great question. I think if I was to go back to square one, I would start off a bit smaller, and I would do it from a different approach. Again, back to the strategy of getting placements. I think I would first start on focus on putting out sample packs. I think, again, because it's like, you know, I have a chance, yes, to create value for the producer community, hopefully make some money to help pay my bills. But on the flip side, I have a chance to actually get placements. Obviously, then build out, you know, you can do one-shots, drum kits and stuff, and build to a place where I've built up enough recognition and value within the producer community. Then we venture into plugins and stuff, because like even today, it's a roller coaster ride on a weekly basis.
Kind of following the whole like starting from zero, starting right now just as a producer, would you focus more on building your own business off of your music, like an online brand, or would you go more towards like trying to get records route?
So yeah, I definitely would go with building my brand. Think about it this way. It's like Kenny Beats is maybe a great example to just use right now. He's built a presence where like he can have his own Twitch, he can DJ his own shows and have his own merch, but he also can be an amazing producer. There's just so many producers out there that I think are really good role models of like, if you really want to move up that ladder and set yourself up for success moving forward, I think we all need to work on building our own brands, or else we're just going to get lumped in the category of like every other producer, you know?
Oh yeah, that's sauce. What is your main focus now?
So it's funny, I've gotten myself into a place where software takes the majority of my time. I'm really going to try and balance that out. I might be 90 on software, 10 on music, and I really want that to be more of a 50-50 thing. Yeah, I want to be the best producer that I can be. I feel like software is my chance to help other producers be the best that they can be. But for my best friend Jacob, I really want to start focusing on myself being the best producer that I can be.
Yeah, I got faith. Yeah, if you're down right now, I would love to go in and cook up some stuff, maybe using Scorch or something like that.
Yeah, sounds good. With Scorch, one of the things that I really love is we recorded a bunch of different acoustic guitars, and I love to use the 2 guitars preset to do sort of like that Don Toliver flocky type of thing. Yeah, I put together this quick little melody where I hold it. Really simple, straightforward. Then after that, I basically just took that and pitched it up. Then I used the pitch range over here to pitch down. So it just kind of stretches it. The next thing that I love to do, FL Studio has some of the best arpeggiation. So when you bring that in, you get this. You get this really cool thing. And then again, just took that exact same melody that we had here. I have it pitched, but I didn't use the pitch here, and I have it on reverse. Something that I talked about before is, again, bringing out some of those frequencies so you can just have this little texture piece on top. Really quickly, we have this sample that at this point, I think you can take to the next place.
All right, so we got the starter loaded up. I'm gonna go in now to the Syntopia Analog Lab Bank, which if you don't already know, Syntopia is this crazy kit that we put over $117,000 worth of analog synths into. If you wanna check it out, it's gonna be the first link in the description down below. Yeah, that's hard. Just quantize all that. I think now I'm gonna add some synth chords, so I'm gonna go back into the Syntopia bank. And then we're gonna bounce this all into one and then flip it like it's a sample. Bounce that down, and then we're gonna chop that up, pitch it up, speed it up, and see what we could do. Yeah, that's dope. Now let's see if we can switch it up at all. I think now I'm gonna bounce that down, and then I'll pitch one up an octave and then keep one down. Now I'm gonna go into the Syntopia drum kit. Let's grab a hi-hat. Keep it nice and simple. Yeah, that's hard right there. All right, bring the bass back in. Drag in a clap. If you want to learn an insane way that Gunna's producer went about getting major placements, check out this video right here.